By itself, a basketball is just a round sack of air, like many of you. You haven't quite seen a character like this before.
I've seen better shooting than that at Special Olympics.
Mr. Woodcock is all about pain, torture, degradation.
Lewis, put your hand down. Everybody knows your parents died. Give it a rest.
I have no idea what it's about.
Woodcock's marrying your mom? Dudes! Don't even think about it!
I don't read the script. I haven't met any of the other actors. I don't care to.
I only do my lines like this to my actors.
I've never worked on a film where I can't keep it together.
So you've got Billy Bob Thornton, Sean William Scott, Susan Sarandon. You bring them together, that's like the perfect storm of comedy, really.
You're not that kid that got the squirts on the balance beam that time, are you?
Jasper.
No.
My first requirement when I do a movie is a great script, and this was a great script.
When I read this script, I just thought it was really funny, and everybody seems to have a gym teacher that humiliated them. It seemed to be a joke that would be pretty universal.
Creamer, first rule of bunting.
There's also a tone that's very different. It's awkward, uncomfortable.
Jasper grills the best beef in Nebraska.
Well, I am known for my meat.
A lot has changed since I've read my first draft. When I first read the script, it was written in iambic pentameter. I was told that it was going to be like Nicholas Nickleby, like be a 15-hour film, and that a lot of stuff would happen underwater.
Until you learn the basics of a sport, you cannot participate in it.
The name itself, Jasper Woodcock, came to us because we were thinking of a name that would be a bit intimidating and a bit funny.
This is not playtime. This is physical education.
Mr. Woodcock thinks he's doing what's right for the kids. The only way to make a kid tough and to make his life better is to put him through some stuff. And probably the chubbier you are, the more teaching you'll get.
Get up, Barley.
He wants to become a really good coach, but to do that, I guess he has to torture all of us. I don't get it.
Off the knees, Creamer. 10 more.
He's been throwing balls and yelling and humiliating people for many years at this particular middle school.
Come on, get angry.
Very much like Billy Bob himself, he's a very serious disciplinarian.
I wanted to do it, frankly, because Billy Bob Thornton was doing it. I just thought that would be a great opportunity to work with him.
Not every day you get to shake hands with a celebrity. Well, that's quite a grip.
I knew it'd probably be fun. I didn't know if he was mean or nice, but he was really nice.
Mr. Woodcock is a character that could easily become a parody of itself.
Because of your lack of focus, we have yet to get past the fundamentals of kickball.
Billy Bob has been able to play it subtle. He can be casually threatening.
Let's see whether or not you came prepared today.
He just walks in the room and you kind of just shrink a little bit.
I'm gonna need a volunteer. Eeny, meeny, miny, Farley.
I don't think he even lets you know he's being funny, Billy Bob. You know, he's so straight.
Having grown up in the athletic world, I'd seen this type of situation before. That's called a takedown. My father was a high school basketball coach, so I was raised in that whole environment. I did base some of my character on my dad, the sort of sense of discipline. The only thing that matters in this world, ladies, is strength. You didn't want to go take piano lessons. He didn't like that kind of thing. Now, if you're not strong by the time you leave these doors, then you may as well give up and go home to your mama's.
And cut.
I just can't imagine anyone else being Mr. Woodcock.
I'm sorry, he seems to be in pain.
Who?
Him.
He's fine.
Sean William Scott just has this innocence about him. It's easy for an audience to connect with him because he seems so genuine. When he's going through all this stuff, you're going right with him.
Mark, action!
Your book saved my life.
All I did was give you the raft. You had to inflate it yourself.
I'm sorry, I thought you were kidding.
He plays these guys who are just some dumbass or just a regular guy or whatever. In this case, he plays the sort of put-upon guy who, you know, it seems like everything happens to him, you know, no matter what he tries to do.
Asshole.
I mean, he's not like a weird-looking guy or anything like that, and yet he still can play like this total loser, which is great. This sort of sad sack. Takes a special kind of candy ass to vomit on a scrambler.
I think Sean William Scott is so appealing to audience because he's such a stud, so sexy.
I've loved working with Sean William Scott. He's a really good guy with no attitude whatsoever.
The hardest thing is to play somebody who's a little passive.
I named my kid after Woodcock.
It takes a lot of discipline, and he was always cracking up because Billy Bob was making him laugh.
I've never worked on a film where I played the straight guy. Like everybody else is funny and you're just trying to keep it together.
John Farley is us. We all pretend that we're all together, and we all know we're not.
And the whole idea of self-help books is really funny too. This idea that people that are completely flawed start giving other people advice and then they can't follow their own advice.
He's probably like the most troubled self-help author ever. I've had the biggest crush on you since the 7th grade.
He's so sincere and so honest and sweet. Your heart goes out to him.
And action.
I'll be ready in just a minute.
Great, where are we going?
Johnny.
Surprise. When Susan came on, it made me a little bit nervous.
Oh, look at this, the cutest little thing I ever saw. Look at him, the cutest little ear of corn.
And once again, like my experience working with Billy Bob, Susan's just one of the warmest, funniest, just greatest spirits I've ever met.
This is really the first guy since your father that has felt right.
She's a perfect person to play John's mother because you have to be an interesting lady to find the sweet, gooey center of Mr. Woodcock.
When Woodcock is around Beverly, he's very different. He's the perfect gentleman. He stands up, he's courteous, he's polite.
Sorry I'm late.
His courtship of me definitely brings out the good part of him.
How's that Hellcat of yours doing?
Yeah, she's keeping me young.
He's a real man and he takes care of her.
Honey, I thought you were in danger.
And he probably very seldom steps on her back and makes her do a push-up.
Action.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm going to the carnival.
You look very beautiful, Mrs. Farley. She does know what decade it is, right?
Amy Poehler, she plays my publicist, and she's just a really funny, really hard, bossy, tough chick.
I need for you to get focused, pull yourself together, and point me to the nearest liquor store.
That's definitely the best character in the whole movie.
I think she steals every scene she's in.
If there's one thing that makes a comedy good, it's perfect hair and makeup. So I'm gonna get my mirrors.
What makes Amy Poehler so great is that she can play it so cold.
45 seconds waiting on mirrors.
She is who she is, and she's not going to suffer any fools.
This is too small. I can't see myself in this. Let me see this one. Hold on. Here we go. This is what I need. There she is. Thank you. Next time, I don't want to wait 45 seconds for the mirrors. Okay, thank you. I'm doing a lot of stuff that I don't think you're going to catch the first time. The director doesn't know this, but there are scenes where I'm hiding under couches or in the closet, and you're going to see a piece of me. You'll be like, there she is.
Netterman? I can't believe it's really you! The real heart of the story of Mr. Woodcock is John Farley re-falling in love with Craig Netterman. They try to throw you by calling the movie Mr. Woodcock when in fact it could be called Netterman.
Probably lose my appetite too if Woodcock was giving it to my mom.
Netterman doesn't really have a filter. He lives in the moment.
Keep your mouth shut, you get your cheesy bread, all right?
And usually those moments aren't so great for him.
Farley's mom is hot.
I meant that in the most respectful way possible.
I've worked with Ethan on 2 other films, and Ethan always makes me laugh.
What are you doing? I'm sorry.
He's really good at making stuff up on the spot.
Run.
Just always doing random stuff. It's just really funny.
Those kids, what a great collection of misfits. You couldn't find a dorkier group of kids, and I mean, I'm sure they're all great, and they seem like
very talented.
Very talented. I mean, I'm sure in real life they're not nearly as dorky as
that one kid took a basketball pretty well.
My belly's kind of going because they had it pretty fast and I had to keep falling down. It was actually fun though.
Good hands, Netterman. Take a lap.
It's very realistic and it's pretty painful, which is what I like about it.
I think they went the right way with it, to really just play it straight, play it very real. The way it's being done, everything is completely believable. Okay, girls, this is called the head and arm. Turn around, Farley. Get the inside position, you slip the head, you load him up, toss.
They run it as intense as we could make it without making it dangerous.
Load him up.
Load him up.
And toss.
You really can't do real good wrestling moves if you don't have someone who really knows what they're doing. We hired Tony Flores as our wrestling coach.
Keep this.
Right.
Slide. Step clear.
My role was technical advisor. There's a series of moves that we work through, which are actually high school and junior high moves.
This is called a single leg sweep. You step, you sweep.
There might be a few modifications, you know, for the sake of the kids, the stunt children that we were working with.
For the most part, anytime I did anything real physical with the kids, it was the stunt kids. You collapse the hip and slingshot.
We hired 2 twin boys to double one child. We had Kanan Hooker and we had Houston Hooker.
The kids who were the stunt kids were actually the children of Buddy Joe Hooker, who's a very famous, great stunt man.
When you're done with it, you gotta like turn away from the camera so they don't see it. I didn't really start teaching, they just started doing stuff. Just out of nowhere, they would be pedaling their tricycles or whatever. Hey, Dad, watch this crash.
I've been doing stunts since I think I was 6.
Better.
We have pads at home and we practice everything at home, and our dad shows us pretty much everything we know.
Okay, pictures up, here we go.
Working with the kids, I guess the only thing that came up every now and then was I'm thinking, well, this kid's like 12 years old and I'm supposed to throw him over my shoulder, you know. But their dad said, hey, this is their job, this is what they do, just like he did.
It's a little difficult for me not to put in my 2 cents all the time. So that's probably the hardest part for me.
Seems like old times, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, a new day has come.
Sean William Scott and Billy Bob Thornton did a really good job when it came to learning the moves and memorizing it.
The final wrestling scene was a bitch. It was fun hanging out with Billy Bob Thornton and just wrestling around with him. Just got my ass kicked, so my back is sore.
The wrestling outfits are pretty funny. We tied in the color with the color of the school. We wanted to make them a little bit different as well. Billy ended up with the long sleeves, which just upped the humor.
He got to wear the cooler outfit than me, but I felt very sexy. Unfortunately, I think Billy Bob looked a little bit sexier than I did. If nothing happens after this movie for me, at least I got that outfit. Now I'm gonna bring it, Woodcock.
You never shut up, do you?
Why don't you make me?
I like the way they're using color in this film, flashback footage or the gym footage, and it's very austere and dramatic. Then you come to something like Carnival, it's like an explosion of color.
There is a very interesting visual look. I think the movie has a sense of reality, feels real. This feels like a real town. We're at a real carnival and not a Hollywood carnival.
Players ready, here we go! There's another winner for you.
I actually came up with the name Carnival, and you may not know this. What it is you take the word carnival and you put an O, and it's Carnival because we're in Nebraska. And what do you grow in Nebraska? Corn.
In a lot of towns in the Midwest and the South, like where I grew up, they have a something day.
Everybody's a winner.
In my town in Arkansas, we had the biggest brick plant in the world, so I have Brick Fest.
Small towns have a certain charm about them.
Jasper, you old sidewinder. Come to get your ears lowered?
Things don't move as fast and you can return and it's as though you never left.
What are you doing in my class?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, you did. Set a 10.
I think it's a universal kind of story. We've all had figures in our lives or didn't care much for.
You see, there's no reason why even a little porker like this shouldn't be able to put me down on the mat. I don't know anybody who hasn't at some point in their school career had a coach or a PE teacher at least similar to this. Oates, I can hear you wheezing from here. Take a lap. Lose the asthma.
It's a stereotype that's really based in reality, but then of course you probably have people who think screaming at them helps build character, and if you can survive it, you know, it's a plus.
We probably have all had a teacher, you know, that teacher was really hard on you and you just couldn't figure out why is this guy such a jerk.
Every one of us can remember that humiliating moment that we try to run away from for our lives.
Are you gonna be a loser?
No, sir.
And we all want to move on and get over the bad coach.
I thought I was doing the right thing.
The movie is trying to say, no matter how bad an experience you had, there comes a point where you take responsibility for your life, you stop being a victim, and you say, I am me now, and I'm going to deal.
I'm not that fat little loser anymore, and that's because he pushed me.
For Christ's sakes, it was just a PE class, you fruitcake.